Oh, hello, happy people. I didn't see you there, said the naked mole rat with the mic. So, today we're talking about the joys of sleep. If you're wondering about my lack of facial hair, it's just because the mask. It's been really hot lately, as you all know from dealing with masks too. I don't know if it's called like mask syndrome or what it is, but my face has been suffering. And so I just decided since fall's coming up, and my beard's going to grow back. I'm going to get my beard back. But while it's getting towards summer, I want to let my face breathe some. So I cut off all of my facial hair. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of rock it out like this for a minute. You can get so much joy out of sleeping in a nice, cozy, bad weather day. If it's raining outside, if it's snowing outside, if the weather is to where you can't go outside and do anything anyway, use that time. It's so relaxing and enjoyable to be able to sleep knowing that the rain's outside, the weather's outside, and it can't get to you. I would even say, like, open the window if you can. If it's raining or snowing and you can afford to open the window completely, open it completely so you can get like the full immersion of the nature. If you don't have screens or anything, you have to worry about mosquitoes and things like that. Don't open it. They'll come running into your house for security and be biting you while you're trying to sleep. Don't do it. Tip number 2 would be just to have like a nice, relaxing shower / bath, or both, because like the other YouTuber was mentioning, and like I agree with, taking a bath by itself, to me personally, is just kind of like superfluous and gross, because you're just swimming in your own filth and grossness. Like, it's a pool of nastiness. So I would rather shower, because at least the water's trickling off me and going down the drain into where it needs to be. Rinse, rinse, rinse. And hair washing is kind of a optional thing. But I have been enjoying my hair washing and like doing the shampooing and stuff. So that's another good big part about enjoying the shower, enjoying the bath. Like, just take the time to do the things that make you happy and that you really enjoy doing during the bedtime. Like, aside from just taking a shower and like getting a good shampoo on with your hair, if you don't have hair or anything, just enjoy like the lather and the cleanness of it. Another good tip for enjoying bedtime goes back to movie / TV shows this time, and that's just enjoy your favorite nighttime bedtime routine. But that's more broad than just movies or TV shows, like I was saying, because that includes like reading a book. Some people, like I said in the last video, don't really see the novel or fun of reading a movie or watching a movie. They prefer to do things like read a book or imagine something rather than have a TV tell them, or not even movies. Some people do prefer TV shows like a crime procedural. I mentioned in the last video that I love Dateline. I also love Forensic Files. I love Snapped. I love all those types of procedural shows, because while I honestly live like an old man, I just go to work and come home, I still worry about the killer, because like the killer can strike at any time. And what I've learned from Dateline and other stuff is like rich, poor, the killer don't care about that. So another thing that you could do during the bedtime before you go to bed is just music. Sometimes just listening to music or listening to certain types of sounds and things usually make you happier. Okay, Google, play rain sounds. Oh, yeah. Google didn't even say anything that time. Sometimes the nice voice comes and says, okay, sure, I'll do that. But can you hear that? I love that sound. And it might be weird, but it wasn't even until recently. But I've always enjoyed listening to music before bed, and I always like to put my headphones. I've never fallen asleep with music in my head because I played it too loud for it to like be like that. But it's always nice to have like a sort of background soothing noise like that to get you to sleep. And honestly, it really does help me, because again, talking about the killer, I'm consistently worried about like noises and creaks I hear like around the house, and just like outside, there's an automatic light that goes on anytime there's any movement, and that includes like wind sometimes. So I'm sitting there being afraid of wind, wondering like why the light keeps on coming on. I'm just like peeking out my window, but having subtle noise in the background like that, it's really good for helping like lull you into sleep, so you're not focusing on so many sounds. Kind of like meditation too. That's another good tip. Before going to bed, a good way to get your mind relaxed and get yourself in the right mindset for going to sleep is to meditate. Because a lot of times you just need to get your mind kind of in a rested state, or just in a state where you're not constantly thinking or overthinking about things. A big part of why I have trouble going to sleep and stay up to like 3, 4 in the morning is because sometimes my mind is just full of so many things. Even now, like I have a notebook full of ideas for the joys of this, the joys of that, like a bunch of channel ideas. And sometimes that happens in the middle of the night while I'm just like trying to sleep. But I already have enough stuff written down there, so I'm good. But again, it's also been beneficial to just kind of like sit and breathe, even if you don't want to go into the full meditation, like Indian pose, any type of pose. If you're just laying down and not intending to sleep, you could just kind of use the laying down time as a sort of personal meditation time, not with the intent of sleep, but just with the intent of focusing or listening on certain sounds or the lack of sound and just focusing on your breathing and things like that. It can be really beneficial. So yeah, that's another tip, meditation slash, should I say slash yoga? No, I think I'll do a whole video on yoga itself, but at least meditation slash yoga. I don't know if you could hear, but like right now, I just heard it's not even just a motion thing. It's also a chime that lets you know like something's moving outside. So, and then that thing too. I don't know if you heard that little spritz noise. That was a little Febreze automatic thing. Between that chime and that thing constantly going off for me, forgetting that noise is there. I'm like, what the hell is that little monster noise? It sounds like a little, I don't know, but weird. Another good bedtime tip is just to like really get cozy in your bed. Like if that includes a bunch of blankets, a bunch of pillows, like really, really cold temperatures. For me, that's my personal thing. Like I love really, really frigid temperatures. And that's why I love winter too. Not only for the fashion, I do love winter for the fashion though. Like you can't layer up in heat. There's only so much you can like take off too. And much like with winter, I don't enjoy the getting out of bed part, and I don't like the parts like before you get bundled up. But when you're nice and properly bundled up, having it be nice and cold is really nice. And it's also a good way to get me to sleep. Like frigid temperatures, like outside, underneath, from outside the covers, it really gets me in like a type of mood. If you do have the problems with like staying awake too long and things like that, that just brings me back to like meditation and rain noises, listening to music, books. There are ways to calm your mind down, or at least get your mind into like a state of just like being sleepy. Even if you're, especially if you're one of those young people that doesn't like to read books, read a book, because that'll get you to sleep really quick. If your mind's always racing, you can't do this, that, get a book. Even if it scares you to have to read any words, read a short book, get Dr. Seuss, like Cat in the Hat, and sit your butt down and read some Green Eggs and Ham. Even if you can read through it quickly, by the end of the book, you'll likely be wanting to go to sleep if you don't read that much. I read often, and I still get sleepy after like 50 pages. And if the book's like going nowhere, if it's like I especially like to read horror books, but if it's like 50 pages in and they still haven't had a murder happen yet, I'm already wondering like, why I'm not asleep. If you're a parent and you are having like trouble trying to get your kids to sleep, or you're trying to get your kids to like not bother you, the best I can say is YouTube and watching those videos they like Piggy, Blippy, all of those things that really occupy their time, especially if they're early risers and you have to deal with like the early rising kids that can walk around, but you know, you can lock the door and they'll be trapped in there with you, but they're the type to bother you about it. Just put on some nice show, make sure that they have snacks, and take yourself right back to sleep for as long as you can get it. Because, again, sleep whenever you can get to sleep is really great. And if you have kids to worry about during that time, then do whatever you can to preoccupy their time so that they're not constantly waking you up. If you have an infant, I can't help you. That's just defaulted out of my zone. You just have to pray that the kids stay asleep for as long as they can. But yeah, I think that's everything that I can cover for tonight before I go to sleep myself. I honestly didn't even know if I was going to be able to do this video, because today I just posted my first 3 videos onto YouTube, and this is me trying to be consistent with it. But I was really tired after that, because there was a lot of things that I had to figure out that I didn't know I was going to have to figure out. But you live and you learn. That's why it's a good thing that I finally did it. But yeah, I was really tired, but now I'm going to get to enjoy the joys of sleep myself. So yeah, that's it for tonight, happy people. I hope that wherever you are, you're nice and relaxed too. You're in bed happy. I hope all your loved ones are happily safe too in their homes, so you can get your good sleep. And I hope if you have kids or spouses that they're being really, really quiet so that you can enjoy your sleep.